I'm gonna stay on the offensive side of the ball. This is someone I know you had as a playmaker as well, and we saw him in a couple of those clips there. Ray Davis, yeah, good vision, good feet, running through contact. I really think, we were talking about earlier in the week, I really think you could make like the running backs like an entire playmaker thing. Cook had some good runs.
Agreed.
Gore had some good runs. Darrington Evans had some really good runs.
He had some really nice runs too.
Right. Like it was hard to choose, but watching Davis and just seeing I like some of the pocket hamster comparisons to Doug Martin because of the 22 and the size and frame, but just what he offers and his ability to get downhill. I thought he had really good footwork in this game. Love this tweet from you talking about duo. It's a concept the Bills really leaned into last year, along with that dart concept and all that tackle pull stuff. Duo worked really well for them last year. It's continued to work for them this year. And Ray Davis has seen a lot of success on this concept as the Bills have been able to create that vertical displacement. He gets downhill. He understands how to read that front side backer, stay inside or bounce it. And then you see the power in him running behind his pads with it.
Right. And we're going to get to some of him in these, kind of runs from the Steelers game overall. But I want to go big picture stuff and then work to the play from Ray Davis in these concepts. So overall in the preseason, the Bills have ran duo 21 times, which is the most in the NFL through preseason. That's more of a man concept. 21 times for 116 yards. 116 yards is tops in the NFL. So they average 5.5 yards per rush, which is number 1 in the NFL in this concept. They were also number 3 in yards before contact per rush. So that's more of like an indicative of how the offensive line is blocking before the running back gets hit.
And they were one of the best teams last year too in yards before contact for the running backs as well. So that's a good sign.
And so again, that's just in this man or duo concept. And then 4th in yards after contact per rush in duo. And so we'll get to Ray Davis and what he brings. And I think, what you saw in this game is his ability to be physical and finish, as we'll show in the film. But I started with this because duo is something that Cromer loves to run. We know that they struggled with it a little bit against the Bears last week. But overall, this preseason, you can see they made a concerted effort to run this play and run different personnel groupings and looks and players through there so they can evaluate, because this is a base concept for them. And so I think Aaron Cromer, who we were just talking about, is probably going to be pretty happy with this type of production, especially this Steelers game when the defense knew what was coming. And so now if we zone in on Ray Davis, he's rushed 9 times for 55 yards. That's 6.1 yards per rush on these duo run calls. Again, we're going to break those down in a second. But the best part about it was he was able to do that on offense from shotgun and from under center. And that's when you can become very dangerous, because some of the duo looks from under center are pretty obvious. You always see the safety get pointed out by the quarterback. So they bring Shavers in, or they'll bring another wide receiver in. They'll remember Gabe Davis will come in and block to account for that down safety. It's really obvious, but when you're running it from gun, it can look different and the angles are different. And Ray Davis, whether they were under center or in gun, as we'll show in this concept duo, 9 times for 55 yards. When the defense knows it's coming, that's effective running. And that's the type of compliment that he's going to bring, to James Cook. He's more of a square runner. He, is decisive. He does have some quickness to get outside, but when you put him in between the tackles and run these type of power downhill type runs where you're getting that, vertical displacement, he adds a nice little element and complement to James Cook.
Yeah, he really had a lot of success in the game in general, but especially on that concept, like you said. And we saw that similar work for Gore with duo and Darrington Evans. And then it's funny, you talk about it. Like every time I'd see that receiver come in, and I'd just be like, okay, here comes duo again. And then every once in a while, I'd be like, no, here's like a weak side zone, and then it'd be like duo. And the key piece too, like you mentioned, I love like being able to get to it from gun and from under center, but then also how it manifests differently based out of each of those. Like they run, we showed a lot of those duo clips in the previous batch from Twitter. And then here's one where it manifests differently. And I noticed it a lot with 57 when he was in more kind of like that 2-eye on the inside shoulder of the right guard. It kind of, obviously it's a different front to the front side of the run there. On the previous reps that we saw, a lot of it was like front side three tech, and it changes how the offensive line performed, but they were still able to make it work. There was less double teams, more individual one-on-one, man-on-man blocking in this type of instance with that front side 2i that you highlighted, but we still saw effectiveness. Like, look at, and I love Shavers on this one, just absolutely burying his man off the edge, but you're not seeing these double teams. This is a one-on-one for Collins and a one-on-one for Anderson climbing and Clapp and Vandermark and McKitty, and they all win. And they all seal and wash their guys down. Davis bounces it, makes a guy miss, and then draws a penalty on the out of bounds.
And we always talk about duo is really set up to get the running back one-on-one with a defensive back, a corner out wide here. And I will say, could Davis have kept this up inside? Probably. But this block by Shavers, I'm sure the way that, I'm sure the way this guy was crashing hard, he thought, much like last week against the Bears, Davis probably thought that, hey, I might need to bounce this because it's going to be muddied up inside. But Shavers just wipes that guy out. But I just wanted to show just that quickness and that ability to change the timing and the pace right here, and then have the burst, have that explosiveness to get outside to make this a positive play when there are a ton of guys in the box. They know the run's coming. And again, coming from the shotgun, not necessarily with the quarterback under center. Here's another one, shotgun. Here comes Shavers again. Different angle and just a different pace and setup here from Davis. I love his timing in this game was so much better, and decisiveness were so much better in this game than versus the Bears. And this is another one. It looks like he's going to bounce it upside, and he's setting up this guy right here, but he's also setting up this block right there. And then you see him cut right up inside, get north and south. Something that I just love watching when he runs a ball, his decisiveness and ability to get north and south with his shoulders square and get positive yards.
Yeah, it was nice to see him, work this game, and a lot of it, being the offensive line, getting some displacement this game versus Chicago last week. Davis not being the fastest type of dude, he needs to get going a little bit. And so if he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, that's not a recipe for success for him, for any running back in general, but especially with a kind of his style. And you have his track highlighted there. This one is just a really nice cut. You see him with that jump cut to get 42 to commit to that outside gap, to get 93 to put his head in that outside gap to help Trey McKitty block a little bit. And then he hits that jump cut, plants off that right foot, and gets north and south. Just a really good job of understanding who the free unblocked defenders are, how to set them up and make them miss, while also putting his blockers in an advantageous position and still managing to churn out a good amount of yards.
Yeah, and I know this guy is coming from depth, and he does make the tackle over here, but once again, setting up your blocks, like you said, setting up McKitty to make this block. Just watch how this little jump cut here before he gets north and south, how that changes the leverage and mindset of this defender right here of the Steelers. It totally makes him look outside, peek outside, take outside leverage, and now he's got the block, he's got the lane to get north and south, and he's getting several yards past the line of scrimmage. Just great stuff. Here's another one, from shotgun, and again, duo, and just watch, first of all, watch the blocking up front by the offensive line. I like Anderson right here, how he climbs to the next level. You'll see Vandermark wash his guy out of the play. But again, that vision, look, he's just taking the ball. He's reading, his eyes are up. He's reading the defenders and their leverage, and he sets that guy up right there to get picked up by Anderson. This is a very good little run stunt, run blitz here by the linebacker. Could easily blow up the vision of the running back, but Davis, he remains calm and poised, and he's able to make that cut, get north and south with quick footwork to get positive yards.
Yeah, a lot of offensive line friendly runs from Ray Davis, using his blocks well, but also setting up defenders to kind of play them into the block or to put them in a more disadvantageous position and set up his offensive lineman for success. And again, this is going to be a core concept for this team. Out of gun and from under center. Maybe you could merge the two and run it out of pistol. Evergreen comment.
There it is again. We're going to try one of these days.
One of these days it'll happen, and we could just point to it. 30 years from now, we'll be able to come back to this episode and all these tweets for the past several years. But yeah, it was just a really nice thing to see. And again, huge point that you mentioned. The Steelers knew that it was coming, right? The Bills aren't getting into all these diverse run looks as the game was going on. They were pretty much just running duo and mid zone over and over, rotating sides. And like you said, you can kind of see when duo was coming, and the Steelers still didn't have an answer for it because of Ray Davis and the running backs executing soundly, but also too because of the offensive line playing with a good mentality and good technique and physicality up front to really make this work for the entirety of the game.
Right. And the last run here is under center. But again, you're getting duo call. So the blocking's a lot different. This one's great because he hits the backside gap on
Yes.
this. Again, you're usually working front side to the strength of the formation, as you'll see from the other end zone angle. You're usually trying to work to the tight end side of the formation, but you'll see him cut it back here with all this congestion on the left side of the screen. This is just great patience and vision from Davis here. You see him cut right up inside, but instead of going right here and getting tackled, he takes it back another gap and works the backside, essentially the backside B and C gap, goes to the right side of Anderson right here and shows off again that explosiveness, that burst right here, and then staying square, making guys miss, stacking moves on top of each other, and just making guys slipping off of him. He's so quick and slippery. And he gets 19 yards on this play off a duo run, this time from under center.
Your vision and your feet are really working when you're able to hit backside on duo, which again, like you said, is a concept that mainly works front side. Just everything kind of clicking for him. Also, like Ryan Vandermark's work on the backside on right tackle. Right. I know 48 kind of takes a real outside route, but you get that nice extension and lean, and then just chops the arm right down and buries him right to the ground, which is beautiful. A nice little snatch trap there from Vandermark. And then again, like the broken tackle piece, like he chains this move together. 74 from the Steelers gets an arm on him as Davis gets through that first level and starts to break. 74 right here, boom, gets a piece on him. Or piece of him. Davis breaks that and it changes his gait, and he manages to chain that together with a move to then shake the post safety and get by him clean. Like, that's just good adjustment in the moment. That's good balance. And again, good vision, good feet. That's a really nice move in the moment when you're getting through the first and second level and breaking a tackle, to be able to have the awareness to pick up that next defender, and then to have the physical ability to kind of resituate yourself and shake him and then continue to get more yards. This was just a really quality run from Ray Davis.
Yeah, just great vision. And something I left out earlier is look at his eyes. He's looking over here. Again, this is usually hitting front side here, or even bouncing like we saw before. But look at him use his eyes and the pace that he's running right there. You see him just kind of short, choppy steps, trying to get a read on this defender and where he's going to go, and eventually just explodes. You see how decisive he is? By the time he hits the line of scrimmage, almost a yard behind the line of scrimmage, boom, he's out the back door of that run. Just fun stuff from him. And like I said, I think he's going to be a fantastic complement to James Cook, especially on these dual runs, whether they're under gun or center, because again, he's going to add a different element to the run game and running between the tackles and adding that physicality and adding that, that contact balance, things that James Cook doesn't necessarily, isn't elite in. I think Davis has some of those, complements that will make defenses have to attack him differently, because Cook's more times than not going to use, quickness and speed to get to the edge. Davis has a little bit of that and some power behind those pads, and he runs really strong and he finishes a lot better than Cook does.
And then you take that skill set and you add in his ability to function out of the backfield as a pass catcher in the actual route distribution, or his ability to check release and find space and everything he can do. The run game struggled last week against Chicago, so he didn't have a lot of great runs, but he had a couple real positive plays in the pass game, including a real nice toe tap on the sideline from a throw from, I think, Shell. Just a good all-around back, and like you said, like a really nice compliment. And the thing I'm going to keep coming back to, I don't know what's going to happen with James Cook, if he gets a second contract or not, but Ray Davis's overall skill set and the baseline that he sets gives you a nice dude to have as your guy. If you do let James Cook go, you have a nice guy to start with, and then he's got a skill set that you can complement with another guy. You could go with a pure speed guy. You could go with a bigger power guy or more of a pure runner. You have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, he adds a lot of that pass game stuff that Cook does, but also, as you said, some of that stuff in the run game and the complement there. So another weapon that we know the Bills are going to use, just even as basic and vanilla as the offense was this week against the Steelers, and even last week against the Bears, some of the stuff in this game, and we may even be covering one of them, even in this game, you see they were running mesh with the running back out of the backfield. And
yes,
then
he was the
yes.
yes.
So that's a new wrinkle that, hey, you're still running that man cover beater, but instead of having 2 crossing drags run that rub, you're having the rub with a running back coming from that A gap if no one shows as a
Ty
blitzer.
Johnson was the one who did
and then Coleman was coming across. So Brady's got some things up his sleeve. We haven't seen much of it, but there are little tweaks right there that show you that, hey, when man coverage is shown, they're going to try to get the ball to Ray Davis. They're going to try to get the ball to James Cook in these situations. And our buddy Joe here says that the field vision of Ray Davis paired with his elusiveness through contact are going to be so useful paired with Cook. I agree, man. Medium, short distance downs now have another option to call upon more consistently. Yes, you're going to have more options because of the traits and skills that, Ray Davis and even James Cook bring to the table.